Yes. Welcome in to Colby Sapp's Mystery Shotgun. I am your host, Colby Sapp, along with Pod Racer Tim. It's time to get into a little bit of that comic book movie news. Also, a little bit of gaming switch over into movie news as we got to peer into the world of Gears of War. But let's get into a little DC real quick, by the way.
Okay.
Right off the top, because James Gunn's been grabbing a hold of the X, the tweeter. He's been grabbing a hold of that, and he's been throwing some things out there. So he was asked because he was talking about, they were asking him about the actor that plays Blue Beetle. And like, hey, will Zolo continue to be the Blue Beetle in the new DCU? And he's like, yes, he will.
So the Blue Beetle's going to be involved in the entire cinematic universe now.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Which is confusing because
a little bit.
He also says that the DCU does not start until the first it'll be Superman Legacy will be the big movie, and then the Creature Commandos will be the actual first start officially in the new DCU. Which, okay, so Blue Beetle has had a movie. The actor is going to maintain being Blue Beetle, but that's not part of the new DCU. So none of that's going to retain into the new DCU.
So it's not canon?
It's not canon.
Then why are we doing it?
Well, because it was already made. He did mention that Viola Davis will continue to be Amanda Waller, and John Cena will continue to be Peacemaker. What he did not mention was Gal's Wonder Woman. Throw her in there, please. It's already been announced. She's announced it, that she's staying as Wonder Woman. May want to throw her in that tweet, James. And Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn. We've all been led inside that she's going to retain being Harley Quinn. Why don't you go ahead and let her in that? And at least say Jason Momoa is going to stay with DCU, because he is.
Right.
He's just not going to be Aquaman anymore. He'll be Lobo. So little clarification needed with that. So again, nothing. I'm on the wavelength, and I can understand this. What's going on with the DCU is that it's not started yet. The James Gunn verse of the DCU is not started yet.
Right.
It will start with Creature Commandos. I get it. But you're putting out, like, the Blue Beetle movie's out. Peacemaker's already happened. The series has already happened.
There's not going to be a second season of that, right?
Yes.
Oh, there is.
Yes. And by the way, James Gunn wrote and directed that.
That's why we have so much faith.
But he's saying that is also not going to be, like, he's going to have to redo Peacemaker now? Or is the next season of Peacemaker going to be?
It was a dream?
Yeah.
They're going to pull that out?
Because remember, at the end of Peacemaker, there was, which all gave us hope, there was, you had Soups, but it all looked like, and Momoa was there.
Right, because we talked about
Ezra Miller's Flash was there. That was like, wow, yes. So it just all got erased by the Flash movie, which is put out before the Aquaman movie. So in order, the Aquaman movie happens before the Flash movie because the Flash movie kills everything. But then you're going, man,
dude,
you're talking about confusing your current fans, which there's not many of them. I understand. There's not as many people that are sitting there going, when's the next DC movie coming out? I feel you. But the ones that are not going to know what's going on unless they're in tune with what's going, like you're listening to this podcast, you might be able to figure it out. But those that aren't and just happen to be at the theater and go, oh yeah, man, I really like Superman. And you're going to walk in there and it's.
So that's what I was about to ask you. So the general audience,
right?
Those that aren't in tune with the comic books, that don't follow every storyline from every comic, and they just casually go see the movies.
This may confuse some people.
Like, they're gonna be lost. Like me, people like me.
Right.
And I feel like I'm into it slightly more than the average person just because of you and what you tell me in this show. But I'm already lost. Like, was all of this necessary?
Well, the changeover to actually, because, all right, it was necessary because there was no direction on what was going on.
Right.
Because the Flash movie, because it was all started by Snyder. They let Snyder go. There's like, never mind, Zack Snyder, you're out. Even though we loved Zack Snyder's Justice League
was amazing.
And it was handed to then president of DC, Walter Hamada, who was trying to make his Hamadaverse, but then AT&T left, Discovery comes in. So when AT&T left, that was a lot of people that were backing Walter Hamada.
Right.
This is getting into the minutia. I'm sorry, we're in the weeds.
No, I feel people need to know this, though.
And so they hired David Zaslav to come over and fix it. And so his fixing it was, I need a Kevin Feige. Because
there's only one Kevin Feige.
Well, that's the reason why they got him in two parts.
Right.
They got the business side of him, which is Peter Safran.
Uh-huh.
And then they got the entertainment writing part of him, which is James Gunn.
Right.
They're trying to basically, glue together their Kevin Feige. So Safran and Gunn are over DC now and still haven't put out anything that they have put their stamp of approval on. So, but yes, are you going to be confused? Hopefully not if you listen to the show. But there's going to be, because when they get into the Supergirl movie that they want to do.
Oh, God.
It's because most people don't know Supergirl comics. The comic that they're making into a movie is one of the greatest, like,
the Supergirl storyline?
One of all time. Of like, if you were to read this comic, you'd be like, whoa.
So the TV show Supergirl, the most recent one.
Right.
Is that included in all of this, or is that an outlier, non-canon?
There's some similarities to it, but
because what's his face was in the first episode. Henry Cavill.
Yes.
Because I watched it.
And then of course they changed Superman. Uh-huh. Now, yeah, the Supergirl story that they're going, that comic book itself, that run itself was right up there with me with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Ronin books.
Right.
It was like being what is that? So it's really, really, really good, but it is such a different take on what's going on with Supergirl. Because people only know Supergirl as that, oh yeah, that's Superman's kin that also has superpowers. Nobody really knows who her...
Right, everybody thinks it's his sister.
Yeah, who her bad guys are,
right.
who are everything along that lines. Nope, that's not really common knowledge. Like, people can name Batman's villains.
Right.
Bam, 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 bam. People can name Spider-Man's villains. Bam, 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 bam. You can name Superman's villains. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. But it'll
right.
get there. And it'll be there. And I'm just wondering if it's going to go over everybody's head or if they're going to do what they did in Marvel, which you had a lot of, which was a lot of people faking like they knew a lot that
right.
was going into it. And then
right.
they would quickly research and go over it. So that if that happens, then DC will take off and you'll see it go. But that's that part of the news. I wanted to get that little bits out of the way. I need to get into... So let me tell you how much of a nerd I am.
Uh-oh. Not about to pull your pants down, are you?
I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not.
I might.
I've been gearing up, as
here we go.
As it's as Gears of War is starting to get a little bit more run as far as before Netflix, because Netflix announced on their last birthday that Gears of War is something they were going to do. It's going to be a Gears of War movie. They're also going to do a Gears of War animated series. So
oh, wow.
For those of you that don't know what Gears of War is, I wanted to throw this at you and see, and because I think a lot of you are going to be interested in it, even if you don't know what it is. So it's a video game back in your Xbox days that the storyline behind it was that basically we as humans, we fucked up Earth. We messed it up. So there was another planet that was out there called Sarah. There's another planet that they found. They're like, you know what? Let's go over there because there's nobody on this planet whatsoever. And we built the buildings and, we do our things and everything's great. Everything's fine. What we don't know is that the beings that live there aren't real happy that we did it. And also they live underneath the world. So
Underground.
And they have what they call an emergence day. And they come out and they've got guns blazing and beasties beasting and they're pissed. And so you have your humans versus these aliens. They're called locusts or the swarm. But the guns and stuff that they have, like the main gun is called a Lancer. And it's a
Big Red.
It's a big rifle, right? But on the end of it, it has a chainsaw. Oh. And so it's the gore and everything was great. But the storyline between like your heroes that are trying to fight this are also having to fight your basic army, right. Where the bad guy is also might be the leader of the good force and whatever. And then you've got this really bad people. And then you have people that don't like the government. No, it gets into that. But the locusts, the big guys that are in it are some of the greatest video game bad guys as far as an army that you can see. And you have your ultimate, like, you know how cool when you first saw Arnold and like Carl Weathers in Predator? Yep. That's these guys on like it, maybe even a little bit more epic level.
Okay.
Of just total ass kickers. So, and Marcus Phoenix, who Dave Bautista wants to play, make a great one to do it. And you have to have Terry Crews in there somewhere.
Well, I thought Dave Bautista he's already signed an in.
I mean, he's in. Okay. He's even dressed up in the whole get up.
Right.
To be in it. It's just not been announced.
Okay.
So, but I'm hoping. Let me explain how much of a nerd I am. I know I was going to do this. So what I've done is I've started there's a YouTube channel that politely enough just takes all the cutscenes and all the dialogue from the games and just puts it into a movie.
Oh, wow. That takes some work.
This movie is 7 hours long.
Oh, well, there you go.
I've watched it twice.
Colby. Why twice?
Because I liked it. So if you wonder what I've been doing in my spare time, I've watched the Gears of War video game series.
7 hours.
Twice.
You've watched 14 hours of Gears of War.
Tim, I haven't played the game. I just watched the game was epic to play. But I just watched it. That's what I was doing. If you've called me, texted me or something, on my off time and wondered why I was being short with you, it's because I had to find out, even though I knew because I've played all these games, what happened, I had to get back to it.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm that big of a nerd. I got into it. I might be on my way home, by the way, listening to a Gears of War book. I've totally immersed myself into this. I've done these things in preparation. If you've ever asked yourself, why is when things are hitting, how is he knowledgeable in all this? I go on binges upon binges in order to get there. As soon as something grabs me, I'm like, it's all that until I can't get any more information in my brain. So when they get here, any Gears of War questions, I'll have those too. Because there you go. And that's your mystery shotgun, everybody.
Wow. I've had all this information in my head. I don't even know where to go from here.